This video is about how the town of Chasiv Yar lives a few kilometers from the front line. About 5 kilometers separates the edge of the town of Chasiv Yar from Bakhmut in a straight line, and apart from this distance is a gray area. This is what allows the Russians to hit the town not only with artillery, but with tanks. Aiming the targets here is not important for the enemy. A group of one of the very first rockets arrived in this small town at dawn on February 24, 2022. The settlement itself is small, not as densely populated and industrial as Bakhmut or Solidar, but is populated enough that 7 post offices worked here before the full-scale war. After the start of a full-scale invasion, and even more so after the start of active fighting for Bakhmut, Chasiv Yar became a refuge for many people who were fleeing from death. Rockets and projectiles flew here, but not massively all the time, as long as the battle for Bakhmut were going on. No, this is real hell on earth. There are still civilians here. There were no infantry battles in the city, but it's simply completely destroyed from a distance. A lot of projectiles arrive constantly, indiscriminately. They can fly again and again into an abandoned building that has been destroyed for a long time. Every day they are wounded here. Almost every day they are dead. People here are just surviving, and the air smells of hopelessness and pain. Most leave. On the remains of the buildings, you can clearly see the consequences of aerial bombardment, shots from the Iskander-M missile systems, the S-300 air defense system, which the Russians use in shelling mode, the Uragan MLRS, barrel artillery and tanks. Not so long ago, the invaders hit Chasiv Yar and targeted the humanitarian aid point in the House of Culture. Not so long ago, the city didn't just live. In this very place there was an atmosphere of enlightenment and culture. Concerts were held here, theater troupes came, children went to some developing creative clubs. But now the place that carried the culture is destroyed. Instead, the Russian world brought fear, death and destruction. For me, being in this circle of hell is one of the best motivators to not let it go any further, to protect lives when the Russians send reinforcements to Bakhmut.